DMV Practice Test. Test 4. Question 25. A broken yellow line indicates you. Option A. May pass if the broken line is next to your driving lane. Option B. May pass if the broken line is one line to your right. Option C. May not pass. The correct answer is may pass if the broken line is next to your driving lane. Explanation. A broken yellow line on the road typically indicates that passing is allowed. This means you may pass other vehicles if it is safe to do so and there are no other restrictions in place, such as signs indicating no passing zones or limited visibility. However, it's essential to always exercise caution and ensure it is safe to pass before doing so. Test 4. Question 26. What type of road marking indicates traffic lanes moving in the same direction? Option A. A double solid yellow line marks traffic lanes going in the same direction. Option B. A single solid white line marks traffic lanes going in the same direction. Option C. A broken yellow line marks traffic lanes going in the same direction. The correct answer is a single solid white line marks traffic lanes going in the same direction. Explanation. A single solid white line typically indicates traffic lanes moving in the same direction. This line helps to separate lanes of traffic that are moving in the same direction and advises drivers to stay within their respective lanes. It's important to obey lane markings for safe and efficient traffic flow. Test 4. Question 27. What do double solid white lines indicate on the road? Option A. Double solid white lines indicate the boundary between lanes where passing is allowed. Option B. Double solid white lines indicate a lane barrier between a regular use and a preferential use lane, such as a carpool (HOV) lane. Option C. Double solid white lines are used to indicate the beginning and end of a speed limit zone. The correct answer is double solid white lines indicate a lane barrier between a regular use and a preferential use lane, such as a carpool (HOV) lane. Explanation. Double solid white lines typically indicate a lane barrier, meaning you're not supposed to cross them. They often separate lanes with different traffic rules or speeds, like regular lanes from HOV, high-occupancy vehicle, lanes. Test 4. Question 28. What should you do when encountering double solid white lines on the road? Option A. Speed up and pass the vehicle in front of you if necessary. Option B. Treat them as guidelines and change lanes if necessary. Option C. Never change lanes. The correct answer is never change lanes. Explanation. When you encounter double solid white lines on the road, you should never change lanes. These lines indicate that it's unsafe or illegal to switch lanes. They're meant to keep traffic flowing smoothly and safely by preventing lane changes in potentially hazardous situations. Test 4. Question 29. What do broken white lines on a multi-lane road signify? Option A. Broken white lines separate traffic lanes on roads with two or more lanes in the same direction. Option B. Broken white lines separate traffic lanes on roads with two or more lanes in opposite directions. Option C. Broken white lines indicate no passing zones on roads with two or more lanes in the same direction. The correct answer is broken white lines separate traffic lanes on roads with two or more lanes in the same direction. Explanation. Broken white lines are typically used to separate lanes of traffic traveling in the same direction on multi-lane roads. These lines indicate that drivers are permitted to change lanes when it's safe to do so. Unlike solid white lines, which indicate that lane changes are not permitted, broken white lines provide drivers with the flexibility to switch lanes when necessary, such as when overtaking slower vehicles or merging into traffic. However, it's important for drivers to always check their surroundings, use their turn signals, and ensure there is enough space to safely change lanes without disrupting the flow of traffic or causing accidents. Test 4. Question 30. How are the end-of-lane markings typically indicated on freeways and streets? Option A. The end-of-lane markings are typically marked with solid lines. Option B. The end-of-lane markings are usually marked with large broken lines. Option C. The end-of-lane markings are usually indicated by dashed lines. The correct answer is: the end-of-lane markings are usually marked with large broken lines. Explanation. The end-of-lane markings on freeways and streets are typically indicated by tapering dashed lines or a dashed line that becomes progressively shorter, sometimes referred to as a dotted line taper. These markings gradually transition into the adjacent lane or merge area, helping drivers understand that their current lane is ending or merging into another lane. It's essential for drivers to be aware of these markings and merge safely into the adjacent lane when their lane is ending. Test 4. Question 31. What does a yield line on the road indicate? Option A. A yield line, adorned with solid white triangles, signifies the direction for vehicles to accelerate and pass through without stopping. Option B. A yield line, typically marked by solid white triangles, shows approaching vehicles where they should yield or stop. Option C. A yield line, marked with solid white triangles, designates a lane exclusively for pedestrian crossing. The correct answer is: a yield line, typically marked by solid white triangles, shows approaching vehicles where they should yield or stop. Explanation. A yield line on the road, often marked by solid white triangles, serves as a visual indication to drivers that they should yield or stop and give the right-of-way to traffic approaching from another direction. It's typically placed at intersections or merging lanes where one stream of traffic needs to give way to another. When drivers encounter a yield line, they should slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary, allowing vehicles from the other direction or lane to proceed safely. It's essential for drivers to adhere to yield lines to prevent accidents and maintain smooth traffic flow. Test 4. Question 32. How are traffic lanes typically referred to by number? Option A. Lanes in traffic are named by numbers, with the number 1 lane typically on the right, the number 2 lane on the left, and so on. Option B. Traffic lanes are labeled according to their position, like the left lane is called the number 1 lane and the right lane is the number 2 lane. Option C. Traffic lanes are numbered from left to right, with the left, or fast, lane being number 1, followed by number 2, number 3, and so on. The correct answer is: traffic lanes are numbered from left to right, with the left, or fast, lane being number 1, followed by number 2, number 3, and so on. Explanation. Traffic lanes are typically referred to by number based on their position from left to right, with the leftmost or fast lane being assigned number 1. This numbering system is a convention used for clarity and consistency in communication, especially in contexts such as driving instructions, traffic reports, or road signage. Test 4. Question 33. What is one situation where it's advisable to use the right lane when driving? Option A. You should use the right lane when you want to maintain a consistent speed. Option B. The right lane is designated to travel at a slower pace. Option C. Use the right lane when entering or exiting traffic, or when you're entering the road from a curb or shoulder. The correct answer is: use the right lane when entering or exiting traffic, or when you're entering the road from a curb or shoulder. Explanation. Using the right lane when entering or exiting traffic, or when you're entering the road from a curb or shoulder, is advisable for several reasons. Firstly, it promotes safety by providing easier access to slower-moving vehicles and reducing the likelihood of sudden maneuvers or accidents. Additionally, it enhances predictability for other drivers, ensuring smoother traffic flow and minimizing the risk of collisions. Moreover, it demonstrates compliance with legal regulations and fosters courtesy by facilitating smoother merging and minimizing disruptions to the flow of traffic. Test 4. Question 34. What should you do before changing lanes? Option A. Signal. Option B. Slow down. Option C. Stop and check traffic. The correct answer is signal. Explanation. When changing lanes, signaling is the essential first step. It indicates to other drivers your intention to change lanes, allowing them to anticipate your move and adjust their driving accordingly. Test 4. Question 35. What is a key tip for maintaining safety and efficient traffic flow while driving? Option A. Staying in one lane as much as possible helps to promote smoother traffic flow. Option B. Changing lanes frequently will prevent traffic slowdowns. Option C. Driving in the fast left lane will prevent traffic slowdowns. The correct answer is staying in one lane as much as possible helps to promote smoother traffic flow. Explanation. Staying in one lane as much as possible is crucial for maintaining both safety and efficient traffic flow. By minimizing unnecessary lane changes, drivers help to prevent accidents, reduce congestion, and promote a smoother journey for everyone on the road. This approach fosters predictability, consistent speeds, and the prevention of bottlenecks, ultimately contributing to a safer and more efficient driving experience. Test 4. Question 36. What should you do if you miss a turn while driving? Option A. If you miss a turn, it's best to keep driving until you can safely and legally turn around. Option B. If you miss a turn, it's allowed to safely back up. Option C. If you miss a turn, it's allowed to stop and make a U-turn if it is safe. The correct answer is if you miss a turn, it's best to keep driving until you can safely and legally turn around. Explanation. When you miss a turn while driving, it's safer and more advisable to continue driving until you reach a point where you can safely and legally turn around. This means finding a designated area to make a legal U-turn or taking the next available opportunity to turn around safely, such as at an intersection or a suitable road where it's permitted.